How do we negotiate with our mind to achieve something we've never achieved?
Yeah, so the first thing to achieve is, why do you want to achieve it? Like, what is your outcome? Many of us walk into the room, even into the room, we're talking to ourselves, and they're not honest about the outcome. What is the outcome? Why are you going through the motion? Is it because society has told you that that's what it should be? Or is it that your parents always wanted that from you? Or is it that you have been neglected in some way and you're trying to please a bunch of people that you can't stand? Or is it that you want to change the world? Is it that you know that you being healthier is going to be able to be around in your family's life much longer, or you're going to be able to stop some social injustices? Like, what is your why, first of all?
That's the first step. Figuring out why you want that thing.
That's the first step. I always use this example, but people always say, well, I want to be a millionaire. Well, what are you going to do when you get $1 million?
Right.
What are you going to do with the money? Some people go, I'm just going to keep making money. Well, okay, you're going to be a millionaire. So if over 65% of the lotto winners are broke 3 years after winning lotto, same thing with athletes.
And football players, yeah.
And football players, 3 years out of the league, they didn't know their why. The football player knew his why, knew his why of, I want to get that ball or run that play. I want to become part of a championship team.
Because I love it, or because it makes me fulfilled, or it's fun, or
I love going to the gym. I'm there for competition. You know better than I do because obviously you are an athlete. But if you don't know your why for $1 million, well, when you get the money, you're going to buy a Bugatti. You're going to buy 10 cars.
And then what?
Yeah, but then you just have the Bugatti, right? So now what else you need, right? Are you going to buy 10 cars? Are you going to move to Bali and live off $30,000 a year for 10 years, carve canoes, save the turtles, and invest in some stocks, because stocks is going to average out 12% every year, and you're going to turn the $600,000 into whatever the case is. And then when you come back, like, what are you going to do?
What? Yeah,
right. Are you going to buy investment properties and keep doubling down? Many people go through life without their why. And so when they're working that 9 to 5 that they're sick of, they're going home and complaining. And I forgot what I was watching a show where a girl she was now living in nature. But she said, I lived in Ireland and I was fighting every weekend in clubs and bars, and I realized I was working and I was so miserable, so that was my release. So I was working to fight because I was so damn miserable with my life. And then she started to find causes that she liked. She stayed at the job, but she would go home at night and put some time into causes that she liked. And she got able to get out of that circumstance and move to someplace else, and now she's doing what she loves. But people don't know their why.
Yeah. What's your why right now? You've been doing Shark Tank for, what, 11 years now? Is that what it is? 11 years?
Going on 12 years.
You've been investing in 1 billion businesses, helping entrepreneurs grow. You've got, amazing kids.
Yeah, so my why is, as I said before, first of all, is to take care of my family and my wife and my youngest daughter, because my oldest daughters, when they were born, I was poor, and all I knew was I got to go out and make as much money as I can to get these girls in an area where they're more protected, where they can have a good education and have a medical and things that in case something happens to them. And to break the cycle in my family of people who were just average people. My mother helped break that cycle by being one of the first to go to college, and me, I'm going to break that cycle. Next, but then I said to myself, with the little girl, now that I have the resources available, it's more how much love can I give her, because I never had experienced the wanting to come home purely for love. I was just so focused on trying to make money, because if I wasn't successful, then like most parents, I'll sleep in a refrigerator box on the street if I have to make sure those girls had just one place to live. So that's one of my whys. Also, I've been on a show for 11 years that has changed the way that people have understood or they get to educate themselves on being entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs. I'm invested in various many companies. I'm these people's, they allowed me to invest in their dreams, so who am I to give up? And also, I'm on the Petco board and the Petco Foundation, saving animals. I want to stop human trafficking. I have much more to do. And if I have a public platform that I can come and sit with you or go on GMA and stuff like that, and I can help change people's perception of whatever the case is, sex, gender, religion, whatever the case is, to make them realize that if I can do it, they can do it, then I'm doing my job, you know?
Where do you think you'd be had you not had your two oldest daughters? Do you think you'd have been as hungry to go build a business, earn money, grow, or do you think like, okay, well, I've got enough money for me?
I don't know. You know, I was worth many millions of dollars by the age of 30 years old. I was absolutely broke and poor and sleeping on the ground at 27, at the ground of my house.
And how old were you when you had your first daughter?
27, 26.
Got you.
Right?
Wow.
And because of my daughters and my ex-wife, I think that they leveled me to some extent, because you don't give a 30-year-old guy from the hood millions of dollars in the bank at 30 years old, because I think I would have. I never tried cocaine or any of that stuff, but if I didn't have my girls, I probably would have been a huge supporter of cocaine, because it looked like it was fun with the people having it. So I think that they governed me in a certain way,
in a positive way.
In a very positive way, and it made me also. It made me also want to leave my daughters a legacy. I wanted them to be proud of their father. So I refrained from doing and having a lot of the temptations that I've seen a lot of people fall short and get caught up in, and nothing wrong with that. We're all human.
So I've interviewed a lot of people, and there's one side of the spectrum where these successful entrepreneurs say, you know what, Louis, the key to growing your business is going all in on one focus. That's the key, right? That's what some say.
Yeah.
But there's others like yourself who've invested in every business in the world, it seems like, and seen lots of them grow and been successful in that way. Do you feel like, is that just like your creative nature, where it's like you want to invest, this is your part of your path right now, where you want to invest in lots of brands because you did so much in one thing for so long?
No, I think I'm more towards the person here. So when I invest in brands and companies, I invest in them because they're allowing me to be part of their dream, but I'm also learning from them, which is in return allowing me to go back to my special skill set and improve it. So I'll give you an example.
So you're learning from the people you invest in a lot.
I'm constantly learning every single day. So in PowerShift, I highlighted my investment on Bombas socks. Now these guys are the number one investment in Shark Tank history. The only Ring, who did not get an investment, went and did really well.
Did $1 billion.
It did $1.2 billion sale.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, and good for
And
Jamie.
you were there when.
Yeah, I said no, and Jamie ended up becoming a guest shark one time, and he said when he came in the tank, he was asking too much money, and but I believe that because we tenderized him like that, and he went out and raised money, I think we deserve 5%, but that's just I'll leave it up to him.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that. I send him an email every other day saying, hey, just 5%. All right, I'm willing to go 4.25. But
but the socks.
But the socks
is the best investment you made.
And it's the number one product in Shark Tank history.
Really? In terms of how much it's grown?
How much it's grown and how much it's grossed. Really? Now, I want to make sure that because I know you interview a lot of people. Yeah. So if you ever interview the underachievers that sit next to me in the tank, I want to make sure that you remind them
that you're the number one investor.
I am King Kamehameha on the tank. All right, just make sure it was clear. But let's give you that example.
What was that deal, and how big has it grown?
They've done over $200 million. I think it's $280 million. More importantly, so their deal is a sock, and every time you buy a pair of socks, they give a pair away to the homeless because they have a big challenge.
That's cool.
And we don't normally talk about the number. It's more important that we've given away 30 million pairs of socks, right?
That's pretty cool.
Thank you. And it's really Dave and Randy's company, and they've done it all. They've gotten very little to almost no advice from me because they're so great.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give you an example on the negotiation. They come into the tank. The only shark that doesn't want clothes is somebody who has 10 clothing companies and 8 are dead. My reason for being on the tank, besides investing in other people, is to diversify my portfolio. So when I talk to a retailer, I go, well, I'm already taking up real estate in the clothing area. I want real estate in the electronics area. I want real estate in lotion, da-da-da. The last thing I want is socks. Also, I have, 20,000 units of socks that I can't sell. You know, when I can't sell socks, I just send people over to people's houses. They steal one, and then you have to buy a pair because you just think you lost it, right? So I still can't sell it. Plus, if I do the deal, I'm the logo whore. You can't tell if anybody in this room or in this building were wearing bomber socks. You couldn't tell. So how do I get the advertising out of it? But they managed to make me understand that today's generation wants to give every time they purchase instead of at the end of the year.
They want impact.
They want impact. They don't want to buy from people who are just making money. They want to know, what did you do for somebody else? So that's one thing I learned that I applied to all my businesses, because you couldn't do that before social media. You could, but
you couldn't get the word out that much.
And then plus you would have to advertise off of people's hardships, right? You wouldn't have self-generated content of people saying thank you, right? So I learned that. I also learned that because the consumer purchased and it was part of a movement, they talk about it at the dinner table, at the water cooler, and that's your advertisers. You don't need the traditional form of advertising because people want to brag when they're doing something well. And then last but not least, they were showing me how to sell directly to my consumer and not being at the mercy of a retailer who still doesn't know what they're doing. So they shifted the power in the room to get me to do a deal.
So you weren't interested.
I wasn't interested.
Everyone else was.
No, not everybody else was interested, but I was the last shark to be interested because I'm too jaded by the fashion industry. Lo and behold, I do the deal, and that's what a power shift is, being able to know your target, know what's beneficial for that person, know where you're willing to draw the line, and really know how to relate to that person and communicate with them.
What is it that they said that shifted the power inside of your mind to say, okay, I got to get into this?
Well, they showed me that the technology on the socks were really good because they didn't have the seam in the toe. When me being a manufacturer, I didn't know how they did that at first. It was a simple change, but I used to get irritated in the toes when they're doing that. But more importantly,
you have to put it on this certain way.
Yeah, of course. More importantly, they showed me that the data they received from their consumer was able to give them the ability to keep selling their consumer and keep talking directly to them, and that they no longer were at the mercy of if a retailer makes the best decision or puts your socks out over here or advertises your socks or discounts them or anything else, right? So they were showing me how to control the business. It's very much like content, sending it out and getting to know a dashboard of your consumer. And I learned so much from them. But it was them understanding that, Daymond, I'm going to take you out of the old way of you doing business and move you into the new way of doing business. And guess what? If it doesn't work out, we're going to do another business together and we're going to make some money or change the world and more than likely have some fun.
That's cool. Who has taught you the most in the last 11 years of this show?
Them.
Them?
They have. I joke about my fellow sharks, but I definitely learn from them.
Is that just because they pay you the most every month? You get a check every month?
I see the business operating. I see them being laser focused. I see a lot of things that they do. They have probably taught me the most.
Yeah. Who was someone that you didn't invest in that taught you the most? Whether it be like a good lesson or a lesson you're like, okay, that's what not to do.
Someone that I didn't.
Or maybe someone inspired you, but you didn't see a right fit for you, and they taught you something.
Listen. I learned. I'm not saying to be warm and fuzzy. I learned from every single one of these entrepreneurs how they operate the business or how they fail. A lot of time when they fail, it confirms theories that I have. Because whenever I fail, I look at a checklist of all the things and I go, why did I do this? This is not what I do. Yeah. Why did I not take my own damn advice? So I can't name just one of them to tell you the truth. But I look at entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos and learn and go, as big as you are affecting the world, and you will still be scrappy enough to say, hey, Amazon workers, you want to make a couple extra dollars when you're going home, you can take a package home, and why is that beneficial? Well, first of all, the worker gets to drive home and takes home a package and makes more money. You're a worker of Amazon, so Amazon trusts you with the box, and Amazon saves on shipping.
Like takes a package home that you bought for something?
No, meaning
just take anything you want.
Take it and drop it off.
Oh, drop it off someone in your neighborhood.
Yeah, wherever. Hey, I got to drive 2 miles. I got to drive 10 miles, but I looked in the system and 7 houses are on the way the 10 miles.
Wow.
Let me.
You can make extra money doing that.
You can make extra. Yeah.
That's pretty smart. I'll be picking up whole truckloads.
And it wins for everybody, right? But when I look at an entrepreneur like Jeff Bezos who does stuff like that, I go, he's still scrappy. He's still thinking, you know what I mean?
All this money in the bank, but he's still trying to maximize it.
Yeah, he's still scrappy.
If you're looking for more greatness in your life, make sure to check out this video right here. And also check out our free PDF, The 3 Secrets to Unlock the Power of Your Mind to help you change your life. Download it right here.
So now you got to move forward, and now you have to first of all negotiate with yourself and understand why are you worth something and why are you special.